Hey there! Welcome to the channel where you will find love, laughs, and DIYs. My name is Crafty Kathy, and I'm so happy and thankful that you came to spend your time crafting with me today. I'm starting my Christmas series today, and this is part 1. It's Vintage Christmas, and let's jump in. I purchased this box from the thrift store when I was on vacation in Florida, and I paid $2.99 for it. It looked like it had not even been used. It has velvet inside of it, and the velvet was pristine, like it had never even been touched before. And it's kind of like a pleather material, I guess you could say, like a faux leather. And so what I decided to do was paint it white so we could make it look Christmassy. Now, I gave it 2 coats of one of my favorite colors of my DIY paint, vintage linen. And anytime that you use DIY paint, you need to seal it. And I used their sealer called Big Top, and I just gave it 1 coat all over. After that had dried, I decided I wanted to use my decoupage paper that I got from my friend Lori at Milton's Daughter. And anytime that I'm decoupaging, I use water and a paintbrush to go around my images, because you know I don't like straight edges when I'm decoupaging. It always looks better when you rip it. It looks more natural, and it's just prettier that way. So I put a little bit of water in a little container, and I just went around it, and here I am just ripping those pieces off. Now, if you need some decoupage paper, DIY paint, any kind of material, my friend over at Milton's Daughter, Miss Lori, she gives my viewers 10% off, and I'm going to leave all the information down below. But you just use the code CraftyCathy10 when you're checking out to get your 10% off. I think these decoupage papers are just absolutely gorgeous, and she has all kinds. And I'm also going to use DIY's liquid patina. It's like a Mod Podge, except for it's a little bit thinner. It does the exact same thing. It will, you use it when you're decoupaging. And I just put a little bit down, and I put a very small layer down, just enough to stick this. Now, here's the difference when you're decoupaging napkins versus the decoupage paper. You do not have to worry about wrinkles with this decoupage paper, because it's thick enough where it will not cause wrinkles, and it's perfect every time. It's so easy to use, especially if you don't like wrinkles in your napkins. If you have a problem with that, then the decoupage paper is definitely the way for you to go. And you can get it for just $1 or $2 a sheet. It's really not expensive. So see, all I do is just put down my thin layer of my liquid patina, lay it down, and then I go over the top of it, and that seals it in. So if it was to get wet or anything like that, now don't go submerging it in water, but I mean, if it was to get wet or something, it's not going to ruin your piece. I put one of the vintage images on each side, and then that cute little present right in the center. I love this paper. And just a little bitty bit of my decoupage paper was kind of sticking up over the side, because there was like a little raised edge there. I just take these small little scissors and clip it right off. But you can literally just use your fingernail and kind of like tear it off also. That works just as good. I felt like on the sides of my box it was kind of plain. I looked through my stencils, and I found these 6x6 stencils, and this one resembled a snowflake to me. Perfect. So I have some black chalk paint and my little dauber, and I'm just going to go around my stencil, and I'm going to daub this on both sides of my box. After a little while of fighting with this dauber, I didn't feel like it was doing the job. So I use a little stencil brush. It's a JRV stencil brush that I have that I really like. It's small, and it gets in all those creases, and you just dab it up and down, and it makes your stencil perfect every time. And then I flipped it over and did the exact same thing on the opposite side. I did the same thing in that up and down motion, and really when I use my little stencil brush, it saves me time too. I am so excited about doing the Christmas series. You know, last year I didn't start till probably sometime in October. Let me know in the comments if you guys are ready for some Christmas crafting. Now, I have these two different molds, and they're both IOD molds, and I'm just going to put some cornstarch down in them. And you can also get these molds from Lori at Milton's Daughter. These are their Christmas molds of this year. I think they are absolutely gorgeous. One is snowflakes and one has reindeer and like little bells on it and like Christmas ornaments. I'm just going to take my IOD clay and I'm going to put it down into my molds. And there is a little lip that goes around these molds, and it just makes them so easy to use. And their clay is really soft and buttery smooth anyway, so it's super easy to use. And if you ever have trouble of it getting out of the mold, all you have to do is stick it in the freezer for 15 minutes and just let it kind of harden up a little bit. Now, I filled up the whole tray on both of these. I just filled up both trays because if I don't use it during this crafting session, it will harden and I can use it, you know, in the future. But as you see, these molds slid right out. I had no problem with either of them. I did have a little issue with a couple of those small snowflakes on the other one, but I stuck it in the freezer for the 15 minutes and it came right out. I take two of my folk art treasured gold. One is silver and one is gold. And I decided on the silver because, hello, silver bells. And so I decided to paint both of these with the really pretty silver color. And I love these really metallic colors that they have because they show up so bright and so pretty. And it's just acrylic paint, but it does such an awesome job. Then I kind of went over the raised areas with that color called Rich Black, and it's also by Folk Art Home Decor. And I just, there with the raised areas, it was so easy to go over it with the little paintbrush. And then the little bell at the bottom, I painted it black also. Now it takes about 24 hours for these to totally harden, and I'm going to take mine and I'm going to use my Titebond Quick and Thick. It's actually a wood glue, but it's the best thing I think that will hold all of these molds really well. And I'm going to place my two bells one beside each other like they are hanging up. Speaking of silver bells, I would love for you guys to tell me down in the comments below what has been your all-time favorite Christmas song. Mine has always been What Child Is This? I've always thought that's so beautiful. I take my red, crimson Waverly chalk paint and I'm just going to simply paint these two bows both red. Then once again, I'm going to take my Titebond Quick and Thick and I'm going to put a little bit of it on the back of my bow and I'm just going to place that bow right in between the two bells. Now, I did just use like a small dab of hot glue, but just so it would stay on there for now. Then I take the little green ornaments that I had made and I'm going to place one underneath the present on the bottom, and I'm going to do the same thing, which is the Titebond and just a small little bitty bit of hot glue. And then I placed a snowflake at the top. I didn't want it in the way of where the box is going to open, so that's why I use such a small piece there. And it's coming together so quick. On the top, I placed two snowflakes, one at the top and one toward the bottom of that little middle portion. And then I'm just going to put a couple of these little ornaments as soon as I figure out exactly how I want them. And I think that this is just so pretty. And I want you guys to do me a huge favor. I want y'all to help me stay accountable. I have made a promise to myself that this Christmas, I'm not going to go nuts and go out and buy all kinds of crafting material because chances are I already have it. I literally have totes full of this stuff and I always buy more and more. So my personal goal is to try to use only what I have. Now, I will have to buy like some little green picks, some little bows, little embellishments, if you will. And I did buy the IOD molds, transfers, and stamps. And like I said, if I need to, I can use them in every single craft that I make. But as I stand here today, I promise you, I'm going to be good. Now, who of y'all thinks that I'm going to make it through this? I took just a little bit of that silver color on the end of a paintbrush, and I just kind of highlighted over those ornaments. Then I take my black archival stamp pad, and this is one of my favorite things to do. I went around all of the edges because that just gives it a little finishing look, and it just brings a little added dimension to it, and I absolutely love to do this on so many of my DIYs. And when I say I went around the corners, y'all, I'm saying I went around every corner. I even opened the lid and went down in them corners. Honey, I just got it all. Now, y'all let me know in the comments, too, if you think that I can hold true to that promise, that I'm not going to buy a whole bunch of crafting stuff for Christmas. Y'all just let me know what you really think, okay? I'm going to take my Mod Podge. Now, this is okay to do at Christmas time. Us crafters don't really like glitter, but at Christmas, I go hog wild on some glitter things. I use that extra fine glitter from Walmart, and it's like a clear color mixed with white. It's very small. I just put down a little bit of Mod Podge, especially around the pictures, and all over these ornaments, all over the snowflakes, and anywhere where I thought it just needed a little extra sparkle to bring that beautiful Christmas light to the project. Okay, so I may have went a little too wild with the glitter, but it's so light you can barely see it. Let me know what you think about this one, guys. Hey, if you like my content so far and you're finding value in it, would you please do me a favor and hit that like button? It really helps me out on YouTube. And I would be elated if you would hit that subscribe button and become a part of our family here on Crafty Cathy. I would love for you to be one of my crafting best buddies. It's every Tuesdays and Fridays at 6:30, and I'll leave the information down below so you can go and check out my other channels on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. Now let's get on with the next one. I'm going to use my DIY paint in vintage linen again. And I got this tray from the Dollar Tree. It is in their $3 and $5 sections. It was only $3. Now it is a little bit of a smaller tray, but for $3, it's a pretty good deal. Then suddenly I sat there and thought about it and changed my mind and thought, why do I keep using white? Let's do something different. So I used skeleton key, skeleton key, which is kind of like a grayish blue color. And hey, this is a Christmas color. It really is. It's pretty. And I wanted to do something a little different, okay? So I gave this 2 coats and then I let it dry. Then I'm going to use the IOD's brand new Christmas transfer book called Christmas Valley. This is gorgeous. Let me just show you on the back at some of the different things that's in it. It's literally the prettiest one they've ever had at Christmas. So I went through and thought, what is going to really make this tray pop? And I started looking through there, and I already have some plans for some of it. But I settled in on the little red truck because I mean, that's the epitome of vintage, right? It really is. So we're going to use it, and you know these are so easy to use. All you do is peel off the backing. I cut it down so I could kind of size it up to see what I needed to do. But you just peel off the backing, lay it down on that tray where you want it, and then we're going to use that little special tool that they give you. And all you do is just kind of like rub it with that tool, and it's going to come right off onto the tray or whatever surface you're putting it on. You know, I've noticed that anything that I put a transfer on, one of the IOD transfers on, sells really fast in my shop. I mean, they're beautiful, and I always get my money's worth out of them for sure because they are fast sellers, and they're so easy. After you have it rubbed on there, you use that paper that it comes off of, and you burnish it, which just means rub it down on there, and it's kind of just means getting it on there good. Now, I got some of their stamps, and these two stamps say Merry Christmas. It comes from the stamp set that is called Good Tidings, I think is the name of it. It has reindeer, all kinds of cute stuff on it. So you just put your black ink on there, or I chose black, and you lay it down and you just kind of push it gently all over to make sure that it gets on there well. And their stamps have so much detail. They're so pretty. This is the other one that I have, and it's called Cozy. Now, I know the name of it, and it's got all these cute little patterns and stuff on it. And I like this one pattern that has snowflakes on it. We're going to run this down the side of the tray. So I simply do the exact same thing, except for I am going to use this little... Why do I lose my words when I'm editing? Every word escapes me. It's a thin mount, that's what it's called. It's the plastic that you lay your stamp down on. It makes it easier in most cases to stamp. And I don't know why I do that. It's every time I'm editing, y'all, I promise I lose simple words. The other day it was pinking shears. I couldn't think of them for anything. Then as soon as I'm finished editing, I have no problem. So it must be editing and anxiety. I don't know. I notice I stutter a lot too and get nervous. But anywho, that's for another video. And yeah, anyways, I don't know. I did both sides with this. And I found that it was just easier not to use that thin mount and just use my hands and do it that way and go all the way down both sides of my cute little tray. Now I'm going to take my stamp pad and finish the edges off on this. I love to do this. It's one of my favorite techniques. I go down every edge, and then on the parts, on the top part there, I wisp it like all the way down the front of it so it kind of looks really distressed and worn. And I really like that look. It's something that, to me, it elevates a piece and it kind of brings it up. Do you see how the front part there, the part that I'm doing, it just makes it, I go a little bit thicker there because to me, it jumps out at you a little more. Then I just used a couple little snowflakes from the Cozy set, and that's another thing I like. I mean, you can just use the stamps here and there. You don't have to use from the same set. You can mix and match, and everybody meet my head if you haven't met her yet. She loves to make an appearance. And y'all, I have that camera way in front of me. I don't understand why it does that to my head. Okay, so I have some DIY white wax in my waxing brush that my buddy Lori sent me. And I just dip it down in there and go all over my tray. Now, I wanted it to be a little thicker at the bottom of the truck and kind of behind the truck to make it look like, I don't know, like he's in a snowstorm, to kind of make it look snowy. Do you know what I'm saying? And so I used my regular brush too, so I could kind of add a little bit more and pack it on in some spots. But anywhere where I just don't want so much, I wipe it off because you don't want too much excess on there. But it's always beautiful, and it always helps to protect your piece and to protect your DIY paint. And then to finish this piece off, I got some little bows from Walmart for $2.68, and I think there's 8 of them on there. And at Christmas time, I like to just buy bows because I use so many. Instead of just making every single one of them, I can just be lazy and grab it off there and pop it on. And I just glued it in that top corner, and I finished it off with a button. Let me know what you think about this one, guys.
Oh, holy night, the stars are brightly shining. It's the night of the dear Savior's birth. Long lay the world in sin and error. he appeared, and the soul felt its worth. A thrill of hope.
I got this cute little sleigh from the thrift store for just $1, and it was so jankety, y'all. The pieces were falling apart. I mean, it was so loose. It was crazy. I used some wood glue and my hot glue, and I fixed it up, took it outside, and I spray painted it with a more it's not so bright red color, and I will have to check and find exactly what the color's called. It's a beautiful color. Now here's some of the snowflakes that I got whenever I made all those molds at the first of the video. And I'm just simply taking a little bit of spray adhesive and running my glue over them so that they would sparkle and be really pretty. And I've also painted some of the snowflakes that silver color at the first of the video, and I'm just going to sprinkle it on them. I'm going to take the color Truffle, which is a Waverly color, and I'm going to paint this little reindeer head. I think he's so pretty. His antler broke on me, but it's no problem when this happens. When you glue it back on, like on whatever your project is, when you glue it to that project, you cannot even tell that it broke or anything because the clay almost like molds back to itself, if that makes sense. And then I'm going to take my favorite color, which is Gypsy Green, and it's a DIY color, and I'm going to color the bells with that. I'm going to take my Type Bond wood glue, and I'm going to put this little Rudolph in the very front of the sleigh. There's like a crease in the front, and I want to put him there to kind of cover that up. You see, he's only got one antler, poor Rudolph. And we're going to put the other one on, and you cannot even tell that it was ever, gone or anything. I'll glue it right back in place where it went. And I did put just a little dab of hot glue just to kind of hold it for the now. If you don't do that, the best thing to do is to put a little tape over it until it dries. Next, I take one of the bigger snowflakes and put a little bit of the Type Bond wood glue on it. And I'm just going to put it right on one side of the sleigh. I ended up putting the other big snowflake on the other side of the sleigh. And I love the Type Bond wood glue. I don't know what it is about it, but it's very easy to use and it is a sure hold. That stuff will not go anywhere when you use it. Also, I'm going to put a couple of the smaller snowflakes there. I take a few of the little ornaments and just pop them on here and there in no particular order, just wherever I see fit for it to go. And then on one side, I'm adding 2 of the bells, almost like a catty corner position. And then I go over the bells with my Arteza silver colored pen just in the spots that's raised so I can just kind of color it in and give it just a little bit of something different. I do that on both sides and go over all the ornaments and all of the bells that's there. This is where I take and place the other ornament on that one side along with the other. And since the color of my spray paint of the sleigh is gloss, I used a gloss Mod Podge, went all over this whole sleigh, top, bottom, sides, front, back, I mean the whole 9 yards. And I just put a little bit of Mod Podge with a paintbrush and used that fine glitter and went all over it so it would have a beautiful little glittery touch to it. And it's not too much because I did not go crazy with it. I used just a little bit, not a lot. In some way I lost the footage where I used one of the stamps there on the back that says Merry Christmas. It came from the pack that had the little reindeer with it. After I finished using that glitter on the whole sleigh, even the reindeer, I ended up decorating this with some pine cones that I got from the Dollar General. Now they come in a pack for just $1, and there's like 12 of them in there, and they're kind of frosted and they're gorgeous. Let me know what you think about this one. I think it's really sweet. Hey, if you guys stuck through this whole video, I just want to say thank you. I appreciate and love each and every one of y'all for spending your time with me and crafting with me today. I hope I gave you some good Christmas inspiration, or at least showed you something that may spark an idea for you. And don't forget to subscribe and give me a like, because that really helps me out on YouTube. And I would love for you to join me every Tuesday and Friday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. And I will see you guys very soon. May God bless every single one of y'all. Love you.